What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you a discussion video on the future of Mac Jones and also what team should he want to be traded to this offseason. But before we get started, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what team should want Mac Jones. I think there's a nice little list out there of potential candidates that could trade for Mac Jones. And let me know in the comment section who you believe is the best fit for Mac Jones. So let's get into it, guys. The curious case of Mac Jones, is definitely one to be like, that is insane. To look back and step back and say, man, to come in as a rookie, to be a Pro Bowler, and I will admit, it feels like being a Pro Bowler in today's age isn't as cool as it was when I was a kid. I'm 28 years old, and I feel like Pro Bowl was the Pro Bowl when I was in middle school and elementary, even in high school. But as I'm getting older, it's like, okay, the Pro Bowl is just, it's not the honor that it used to be. But still, rookie year, Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler, and then from that point on, everything just hit the fan. Poop hit the fan. Year 2, year 3, and now we're here. Most likely, he will be traded. I would say for a 5th round pick, Trey Lance, who was a little higher pick than Mac Jones. He was traded for a 4th round pick to the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken. Mac Jones, probably a fifth rounder, 6th rounder, something like that, because just the way how it ended. Trey Lance, more of the unknown prospect still, and the way it ended with him in Niners was kind of crazy. The last round pick of the draft, Brock Purdy took his spot, and he kept getting injured. He got injured and lost his spot to Brock. So he's like, that's kind of a weird situation. So they got pretty good value for an unknown prospect in Trey Lance. But Mac Jones' case, he's not an unknown prospect. As I said, started off strong. The last 2 years, even though it's not on him, it definitely didn't look too good, especially last year. They kept constant benching, the constant mistakes, the constant turnovers. I'm like, bruh, he can't save himself. But that's over with now. Hopefully he gets to be moved to a team that he would like to go to. And let's talk about some of those teams and some of the options now. So me personally, there's a lot of teams out there. I really like a couple of those, but I really dislike a couple also. And not really just for on the field stuff, but for the narrative. And I'll get into that in a couple of minutes. But first off, the team I think that needs him the most, and he should probably want to go to the most, the LA Rams. The LA Rams, to me, are the clear-cut favorites, should be the clear-cut favorites to land Mac Jones, and Mac Jones should really want to go there out of all other teams. And clearly, the Sean McVay friendly offensive system, and then you have the older, grizzled veteran who's always pretty banged up, pretty injured, and that's Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, he's due to miss time almost every year. He kind of set in stone, at least a game or two. Sometimes even more, and who knows how long Sean McVay has left in LA, how long Matthew Stafford has left in LA, and it could go out in the same year. But, if Matthew Stafford, which he normally does, gets banged up, misses a game or two or 3, you could see Mac Jones coming in, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Kyron Williams, decent O-line. I think the defense will get better also. That's not bad. That's a good situation to come into as a backup quarterback that has starting experience. If you're trying to right the ship, if you're trying to change the viewpoint of you and not being a winner and can't be consistent, the Sean McVay offense is great to go to. So him going to the Rams, if Stafford does get banged up throughout the season and stepping in for multiple games, that could change the viewpoint on Mac Jones for a couple teams out there for a future starting spot. Next up, the Niners. Now here's when it gets tricky in my opinion. The Niners are a great situation for Mac Jones for football reasons, but for the future of Mac Jones, I don't know. And it sounds crazy, but it's all about narrative, as I was saying earlier. The narrative on Kyle Shanahan's system is once a quarterback learns his system, once you get in Kyle Shanahan's system, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. There's no quarterback there in there that can't get in his system and be successful. And we've seen that throughout the years of him being the Niners head coach. We've seen guys The list is pretty long. From Garoppolo during his time there early on, he gets banged up and stuff like that. They bring in guys, and even when Purdy got hurt throughout the playoffs a couple years ago, they brought in guys who didn't look. They looked bad, but it still was something there. It's like, man, every quarterback we've seen in the Shanahan system, for the most part, has looked at least pretty competent. You don't say that everywhere else you go. So if Mac Jones were to go to the Niners and somehow, you know, get in for a game or two for Brock Purdy or something, Mac will look good, but clearly he will look good. And like I said, just a narrative thing because the other teams have good weapons too. Like I said, the Rams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. But I think the narrative changes when you have Christian McCaffrey, when you have Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. That defense is going to be like, okay, Mac Jones has no choice but to be good. And I think that narrative will kind of hurt or could hurt Mac Jones in the long term. But I could be wrong. But I think the Niners are a good team to go to as far as football wise. But future, for career purposes, I don't like it for Mac Jones. Now going to the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton. I'm not opposed to it if I'm Mac Jones, but it's more of a lateral move. They have Jarrett Stidham still, who's also a former Patriot quarterback who has shown he can at least ball a little bit. He has put up decent numbers in kind of garbage games. So it's kind of a lateral move. If Mac Jones does struggle early on or has a quarterback competition right now, can he beat out Jarrett Stidham? I think Mac Jones is better, but it's not that far away. It's not that big of a margin that Mac Jones is way better than Jarrett Stidham. So I would say, if I'm Mac Jones, I'll say nah. But obviously, if you got a chance to start, you go there and try to start. But I think sit behind somebody for a full year, that would be the best case scenario. Going to a QB battle with Jarrett Stidham and possibly losing could do damage to him long term. So I would say no if I'm Mac Jones to the Broncos. Sean Payton, a good offensive mind, but that's not best, in my opinion, for Mac Jones's long-term future. Going to the Minnesota Vikings. Pretty interesting move. Kevin O'Connell, another good offensive mind. Him going to the Vikings, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, those guys, Tyler Hockenson. Not mad at it, but the thing is, with Justin Jefferson and those receiving corps, would they want him? Because everything I've seen in the rumor mill says Jefferson wants Kirk Cousins back. I think if they don't go Kirk Cousins, they have to go Jaden Daniels. And they'll know by the time draft comes, because free agency comes pretty soon, I think in 2 weeks. So they're going to obviously know if they're going to get Cousins back or not. If that's the case, I will see the Vikings trade up to pick 3 with the Patriots maybe, and give them a nice little haul to trade up to get a guy like Jaden Daniels or Drake May if one of those two, or if Drake May does drop for some reason to pick 3. I think that would make Justin Jefferson happy. Going anyone else other than Kirk or Jaden Daniels, I don't know, or maybe even Fields. I don't know if Jefferson would be happy with that. Obviously, the Vikings want to sign him back for a long-term deal. I don't know if he's going to go back to a quarterback that's not one of those 3 guys mentioned, Fields, Kirk, or who I say, Jaden Daniels or Drake May, or four quarterbacks. So that's kind of iffy to me because Jefferson wants to win. He wants to be competitive, it seems like, which as he should, and also get paid at the same time. But without Kirk, you at least have some long-term investment with talented guys. You bring in Mac Jones solo dolo as the main quarterback. I don't know. I don't know if Jefferson or the other guys would like that. So I would say no to the Vikings. If you bring in Kirk and then trade for Mac as a backup, then maybe. I wouldn't know. I think that's probably better. But as far as Mac Jones solo, if you're Jefferson and the Vikings, I don't know. Because Jefferson might just riot. He might sit out and demand a contract. So I don't know if he's going to, go that route and want Mac Jones. Next up, you have teams like the Saints behind Derek Carr. I don't think the Saints are a good fit. They should go young and probably Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, something like that. Someone else in what's the kid name? Michael Pratt. Something like that to back up Derek Carr. Someone who has potential to take over in like a year or two. So I'll say no to Mac Jones going to the Saints. Then you have the Detroit Lions, another interesting team behind Jared Goff. Not opposed to it. Teddy Bridgewater did retire. Going to be a high school head coach. Hendon Hooker. I forgot what round he went in the draft last year, but they have him as well. Missed most of the year with an injury. Came back or was at least healthy scratches. I think from week 10 on to the rest of the season. So it depends on what the Lions see and feel about Hendon Hooker this offseason. Do they believe he can back up Jared Goff, because he's kind of the Lions QB in waiting as of right now. So we'll see what that goes. So I wouldn't be opposed to it, but you do have Hooker. So what do you have with him is kind of the determining factor on this move if you're the Detroit Lions. Then you have two other teams. Then the video is over with: the Seahawks and the Falcons. I'll start with my Falcons first. My Falcons, no, heck no. Simply because it's a lateral move, same as the Broncos. We already had Desmond Ritter. I like Ritter a lot. I think Ritter still has promise. I like Mac Jones too, but there's no point in going with two guys who are struggling to maintain a starting spot. So that to me doesn't make sense. So I say no to that. It wouldn't make sense. The Seahawks is interesting. The Seahawks just restructured Geno Smith's contract, so they're committed to him in 2024, but probably not in the future in 2025, 2026. Mac Jones sit behind him for one season, does well, whatever, could possibly replace Geno, because Geno didn't play great in 2023. So if Geno does struggle or does get injured, which he did last year, you definitely could see Mac Jones step in for a game or two and see what he has. And that's a pretty good team as far as offensively goes with the Seattle Seahawks. See what they have on defense after the draft of free agency. But offensive wise, Tyler Lockett, DK, Jackson Smith and Jigba, two running backs, Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, O-line's pretty decent. I wouldn't be mad at it if I'm Mac Jones to go there behind Geno, who didn't have the best year last year. That definitely is a legit option. So for me, my favorite options for Mac Jones, I would say the Rams, the Seahawks, maybe the Lions, uh, Niners. Yeah, you can win a ring with the Niners, but can you make an impact, and can you progress your standing in the league as far as possibly getting playing time and being a future starter somewhere else? That parlaying that to something else. I don't know. I don't think so. So Niners, as far as being a good system, learning the game, and sitting back, and that is cool, but possibly you can't. You most likely won't get in a game with the Niners. So I'll say no on that part. The Broncos, I'll say no, and the Falcons, I'll say no. Steelers as well, no, for the same reasons the Falcons and the Broncos. Be a lateral move. You're going to be battling out with Kenny Pickett, and you definitely could lose that battle. So I like those options as the main favorite ones. Rams, maybe Lions, Seahawks. I think those are the best options, clear-cut best options for Mac Jones this offseason. So that's it for video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.